Hey guys, I hope you've had a good day today and that you've been able to just spend some time with the Lord in His presence through reading His Word, through worship, and through prayer. I think that the book of Jonah reminds us on how important it is to make sure we're listening to the Lord and not just hearing His voice, but also obeying. And many of us know the book of Jonah. We know the story, we know his story, and the hardships he faced because of his disobedience. I think there's a few points that we can discuss about the book of Jonah, one of which is that God's mercy is for everyone, and you see that in this book. So even the people we may consider as enemies, God's desire is that all would be saved and come to know Him. You see, Jonah had tried to avoid God's command. He tried to run away from God's instructions, and he was disobedient, but God did what? He still pursued him. I am so thankful that we have a God who will still pursue us even when we're knuckleheads and we don't do what we're supposed to and we're not obedient. He's so full of love and grace that in those moments we still have to face the consequences of our disobedience, but yet He still chases after us. So you see that God did send Jonah to the people of Nineveh to warn them about their destruction that was to come because of their wickedness. The beauty is that when Jonah obeyed the Lord and went to the people, they repented of their ways. Had he just been obedient, he would have seen just the beauty of God's grace and love for people, and that His desire is that we would all come to know Him and that we would have righteousness because of His blood that was shed for us. The main lesson here is you see that God is merciful. You see, He's merciful for the people of Nineveh, and He's also merciful towards Jonah when he was disobedient, when he was prideful, when he just wouldn't listen or obey. God still showed him mercy, and He had to bring him back and remind him on who is in control and why it's important to listen to Him. God desires to forgive everyone who repents, just like He desired that for Nineveh. There's a few scripture verses I'd like to end with, because it's important for us to realize that we should not resist God's call. We should not resist God's instruction through Scripture to show compassion to people, even those we dislike or even our enemies. In Luke chapter 6, verses 27 through 28, it says this: "But I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who abuse you." In 1 Peter 3:9, it says, "Do not repay evil for evil, or reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, bless, for to this you were called, that you may obtain a blessing." It's beautiful to see that throughout Scripture, He reminds us, let's love our enemies. Let's show them the love of Christ. Bless those who curse you. Bless others. And in that, what a blessing we receive, that God would look down on us and smile. He would look at our actions and say, "You are acting as my son did." He takes pride in that. He's proud of us when we do those things. And we can only do those things if we have Christ in our life. We can only accomplish good things for the kingdom because of what the Lord has already shown us. So how much more should we desire to show the very people who have cursed us and hurt us the very love that Christ has for us? Were we not those very people who were cursing Him on the tree, on the cross? I hope that encourages you, that it reminds you, and in the tough times when you're being hurt by